Kellogg's thing goes down because this is good.
All right, so we were sitting, my wife and I were sitting, just to give you the build up. My wife and I are sitting at home one day, we're watching television, and my brother calls me, right? And my brother says, hey, he goes, go to channel such and such, right? And they're talking about fraud, something that you guys do. So we switch over to that channel, and there's they're talking about I want to say Nicaraguan, like not Haitian, but there were these black people that were mastering in fraud in Houston. And what had happened was this girl was working for an oil company, and she received a check from one of the companies, either buying oil or whatever, and she gave it to this guy who started a company and opened up a bank account. And what happened was she got the check and she gave it to him. It was like a $65,000 check. So he opened up a bank account, deposited a $65,000 check in the account, and got the money, and they left. Well, they caught him, I'm saying, because he had a P.O. box and everything, and he was the one that's going. So when my brother pointed this out to us, me and my wife were watching. So we watched this, and we're sitting there. When it's over, we kind of look at each other like, like we could do that. So what we did was we decided that we could get business checks, and we will open up an account that's similar to the business name and deposit the business check into that account. So what had happened was a friend of ours said that he had a cousin that worked at Kellogg's. She was in the main office of Kellogg's. So when
the logistics office.
Logistic office.
Oh, shit.
General Mills. Yeah, it was Kellogg's. It wasn't General Mills. It was Kellogg's. That's different from General Mills.
Yeah.
So she worked at Kellogg's, and I think this is in Michigan. She was in Michigan. I can't remember. Grand Rapids or something. So when we talked to her, she's like, oh, yeah. She says, like the supermarket chains, they pay by regions. So a region for, let's give an example, because it was a Publix checks that we were after. So Publix by region would do all of Florida, all of Alabama, all of Georgia, all of Tennessee, and all of Mississippi. So when Publix orders from Kellogg's, they're covering 5 states. So if Publix bought cereal for 5 states from Kellogg's, what would you imagine the check would be? Monthly.
What do you think, Rob?
5 states, Kellogg's. How much is a box of Kellogg's then?
Well, you're thinking about $2, but I mean, this is Publix's price, so they're probably like
they get
about $1 a box. This is back in the
what year?
Early 2000s, like 2005.
Early 2000s. God, and you're asking monthly? What are we saying?
Monthly. They pay monthly. About $7 million, $7.8 million.
God damn.
That's
monthly.
Monthly.
Okay.
So Kellogg sends a check.
This is in the 90s.
This is in the 2000s, 2005.
2005. Okay.
So she's telling me, the girl I call, she's telling me like, hey, so Kellogg's. So Publix's check is like $7.8 million. Winn-Dixie's check is like 5.6. She's giving me the options of grocery stores, right, that are buying cereal, and she's telling me the biggest check is Publix. So I'm like, okay, I want a Publix. So what happens is she works in receiving where she sees the check and she processes it. So I'm telling her, okay, what's going to happen is I'm going to start a company called Kellogg's Distribution. I'm going to open up a bank account under Kellogg's Distribution. And when you get that $7 million check, you're going to give me that check payable to Kellogg's, and I'm going to deposit it in my distribution account. And once it clears, I'm going to withdraw the money. I'm going to give you $3 million, and I'm going to take $4 million and change.
Okay, so let me get this right from following right. So you got a girl on the inside at Kellogg's,
yes,
right? She's going to take that check that's supposed to go to Kellogg's and write it to you because you open up.
No, she's not going to write it. She's going to give it to me.
She's going to give it to you.
Yes.
And then
so
you're going
to Publix wrote Kellogg's a check.
Mm-hmm.
Publix is like, okay, thank you for all those cereal boxes. Here's $7 million plus. So then they send the check to Kellogg's. She gets the check every month, so she sees it. So every month she takes it, she processes it, and puts it in. So what's going to happen is 1 month, she's going to get the check, and she's going to bring it to me. She's going to stick it in her shoe and bring it out and give it to me. So Kellogg's is not going to get the check 1 month, right? So what will happen is Publix will go 30 days in the negative. So Publix will be paying behind, right? So it's going to blend in. But at some point, they're going to catch it. So she's going to give me that check. When she gives me that check, I'm going to deposit it in my account, which was Bank of America, right? Because the check is off of Bank of America. So Bank of America is going to clear that check immediately, and I'm going to withdraw those funds and give her $3 million, and we're going to keep 3 plus, 4 plus whatever million, and we're all going to disappear into the moonlight.
And how'd that work out?
Well, what happened was there was a lot of complications because the girl was a friend of somebody we knew that was in prison. So when I talked to her, because we met her in person, I said, okay, once you give me the check, go ahead and put in your 2 weeks notice. And she didn't want to quit. So like there was problems. We never pulled it off because I think we ended up going to jail, federal prison for this before we were able to do it. But I debated because I wasn't going to do it. I think I waited like 2 extra months because initially I wasn't going to do it because she wouldn't quit. Had she quit, I would have probably done it. But she's like, I don't want to quit my job. So I'm trying to tell her, listen, one day, right, when they notice that check's missing or that check got cashed or whatever the situation is, they're going to call everybody in, and when they question you, right, they can arrest you. That's what I'm telling you. You might get arrested. I don't tell her that I've met you in person, right, and you can describe me to them, and I don't want that to happen. I would prefer that you quit your job, and if they call you and ask you to come in, we can pay for you a lawyer, and you can say, I'm not coming to answer any questions. My lawyer will answer any questions and you completely cock block them, and it's over.
Right.
You know, but she's like, I don't want to quit.
But you're willing to give her $3 million out of the 7.6.
Yes.
And she don't want to take the $2 million to fucking leave a
job.
What is she making? $8 an hour?
She was making $7.35 per hour.
And you're offering her $3 million to quit?
Yes.
She needs a therapist.
She's like, no, I don't.
Fuck.
Well, what would I do all day? Who gives a fuck?
You got $3 fucking million. Go somewhere.
Yeah.
With what like you were doing and Matt was doing and so on and so forth. If somebody wants you, is there any way like to protect yourself? Like, so when you see a mark and you go after that mark, right? Is there a way for a person to protect themselves other than fucking LifeLock?
Well, I don't know if LifeLock actually protects you, but you have
to alert you, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You have to be diligent and check your statement, to make sure that there's no problem. You keep your cards to alerts on your phone. Like any use of any card, as long as it alerts you on your phone, then that will protect you, because then you'll be like, oh, I didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you protect yourself. Just make yourself aware of all transactions that occur, within your account at any time.
So you would recommend to anybody, put all alerts onto your phone?
Yes. Whenever a transaction occurs.
No matter what it is.
Yes, you get an alert on your phone.
Like 1 cent, I want it on my phone.
Yes. And then when it comes up, then you know if someone's accessing your account. And that'll keep you ahead of the game. And you can, not only that, but and then you can turn the card off, or at that moment in time, you can reverse it or let the police know that that's an illegal transaction. And then what happens is they could start an investigation at that point in time.
And then you as the fraudster would realize that, okay, he caught on to it, I'm going to move on to the next one.
Right. That or I could be blind and that would get me caught. And
so either way, it's a way to avoid it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, it is.
You were always into comedy, even as a kid. Like, who are you acting as?
Well, listen, I've been in a ton of different plays. Like I was in A Funny Thing Happened to Me on the Way to the Forum. I've done in Romeo. I was in the drama club in high school, also in college, and then I also participated in different theaters outside of college. Once I got done, I participate. So I like doing drama. But while I was there, doing talent shows, I would do stand-up comedy, and I've won. So I would get up there and just like deliver a couple of jokes. And what I found is, like, whenever I found a good joke in a joke book, a long one where you act it out, and I start acting it out, then I would win, because I would act out long in entrenching jokes. Because I'm one of those people that I can play multiple characters, like Richard Pryor would do, two people talking to each other. Like, don't be talking to me like that. Who the hell do you think you're talking to? I'm not talking to me like that. Don't really talk. You know what I'm saying? So I could do two different characters. So I found that to be very helpful in my comedic career. So I pursued being a comedian for a while. I'm not going to say I wasn't that funny. It's just that I had stage fright, something horrible. I'd be too afraid to get up there on stage and get booed off. So I would never really take a lot of chances. I basically just did competitions that I kind of thought I could win, or I would watch the other competition and go. But yeah, I always wanted to be a stand-up comic. Just a shout out to you. You guys, you do an excellent job of just bringing the content. Like, I've watched some of your videos, and you're good at just, you know what I'm saying, keeping up with the times, and you're hilarious. You keep it hilarious. So
I appreciate it.
I appreciate this opportunity to be here to, you know, to maybe sling some funny stories or some jokes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
thank you for coming in, man.
Hey, man, this is a pleasure. This is an honor for me. And thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I, like, if you got depressed, like, oh my God, too many people are saying no, and I go over there and shut up. Get your head together, goddammit. Get back on that phone and get me an appointment. That's right.
Here's this pint. Chug this and go, right?
We should have offered that. We here, smoke this. Okay, you're good. Let's get back on that.
Here's some sativa. Here's a modafinil.
I mean,
you need some caffeine here. We got the raw powder here, right?
Hey, man, I'm from fucking Sears Siding.
They probably would have sold more.
That's right.
Do a Sears Siding impression.
Well, you know, like, I'd be like, this is Zach calling from Sears Siding. I was calling you today to let you know that we can improve the value and the quality of your home, and the value. That's what the value and quality of your home by placing siding on top of those wood planks and eaves and overhangs, which will give you an opportunity to make your home look better. You can clean it off with just your garden hose to clean your house, make it look good, make it look new, and it adds value to your home. So I wanted to go ahead and just set an appointment for one of our reps to come by there and harass you and look at your wife, if you don't mind. So what happened to me is they came along with the At&t Universal card. You ever heard of that?
Like the prepaid card?
No, it's not. Wow, prepaid didn't come out to the 20.
Okay, yeah.
To the 2000. Like, America didn't have the concept of prepay until like 2005, 2006.
Okay.
That's when, like, hey, we can make poor people prepay. Rich people can pay afterwards. Poor people can pay ahead of time. Basically saying, we don't trust you. Give us our fucking money, and we'll give you whatever service you want.
You know what's fucked up? That's
including
true,
credit cards. Yeah, including we'll give you debit cards, credit cards, whatever. As long as you pay us in front, we'll give you whatever. Charge you for every fucking thing that you do. We got
22% plus this, plus that, right?
Hey, but all right, so
tell me what an AT&T card is back in the day.
An AT&T Universal card was a credit card and a calling card combined into one. So they brought that in. Look, when they brought that into West Telemarketing, it was a huge deal. AT&T came in, they had a party, they had drinks. We were all celebrating. Like, AT&T Universal card people, we're giving away a free credit card and a calling card. So wherever you go, you got a calling card number on your card and you got a credit card number. Bam, all on one bill. This is back when MCI, Sprint, and AT&T were competing for your long distance. Okay. Remember when you're making you call your mom? Yeah. You had to have a long distance plan, friends and family, whatever the fuck you had to have.
Back when there was pay phones?
Yes. Yes. Back in those days.
Holy fuck.
You know what I'm saying? Well, you didn't give a fuck what number you dialed. Like, I can call you from a West Virginia number. It doesn't fucking matter because all that shit's the same rate. So back in the day when it cost you money to dial long distance, AT&T had a universal card. So it was a credit card and a debit card. It was a credit card and a phone card combined. So they had us giving away that card at West Telemarketing. So when you're giving away that card, people give their personal information to get the card. So I'm one of the sales reps gathering people's personal information. And as I stated before, what happened to me is a guy that got qualified for like a $17,000 card. I think $17,000 was the max. I take him all the way through the confirmation process, is where I record all of his information. I take him all the way through confirmation, and at the end he goes, you know what? I don't want the card. So what happened to me when he denied the card, the fact that I was struggling because now I'm on my own. I used to live with someone, and now I'm on my own and struggling. I told myself, you know what I could do with a $17,000 card? I could get ahead. So in my mind, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to change his information to mine, and I'm going to order him the card. So I ordered this gentleman the card, and it actually showed up. That's what led me down the pathway to crime. Because when I did that, like at the time, identity theft wasn't even a crime. It wasn't a federal crime. It wasn't even known to be a crime. So for me to change his information AT&T sent the card out. When they sent out the card, I actually spent his $18,000. It took me 7 months, you know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't used to having money. Like I used to live off of probably about $1,000, $1,200 a month. So he had 18 grand. So the first month I might have spent $2,000. Second month I might have spent $3,000. That's only $5,000. You know what I'm saying? It took me a while to start spending thousands of dollars per month. So when I got his card, in 6 months I went through the money, but I was able to travel. I went to Florida to see my family. I was able to go out and travel to see friends. I went to see the Grand Canyon. You know what I'm saying? I started living it up on this guy's credit.
Now, when you're doing this, are you subconsciously thinking, wait, this is illegal? Or are you thinking like, well, there's no real law right now on this shit, I'm all right?
Well, you know what? Looking back, actually, no. Like in my mind, I don't even know if this shit will work. Like in my mind, I'm thinking there's something in place that's going to stop me from doing what I'm doing. Like I'm doing this, and whatever's going to stop me is going to stop me. So I'm not really thinking law-wise, but when I look back, I'm thinking I was a pioneer because before this was an actual charge, I was doing this. I remember watching on television when prosecutors were asking the government to change the law because people are stealing people's identities. Like I'm listening to hearings being held in Congress about, hey, this guy's using my credit, using my name, and he said he can get away with it because there's no law to stop him. So they're actually passing the law, and I'm like, that's what I'm doing. So I'm realizing I'm not the only one doing this, and multiple people are realizing that there's a huge gap in the system when it comes to identity theft. So that's what got me into identity theft. So at the time in my mind, there's something in place that's going to stop me, and there was nothing to stop me. So when I got all that money and I spent it, and he's maxed out, I just threw him in the garbage and went to the next card. You know what I'm saying? So there was nothing that really stopped me in my mind. It's kind of like, if you're going to let me do this, I'm going to do it. If you're going to open, like if this is available for me to do, I'm going to do it. Because the opportunity was there, so I just took advantage of the opportunity. Back in the 90s when I was doing it, I did it for about 3 years untouched.
With the same company? Or were you moving around?
With AT&T. Like I would just simply, if I picked you as a person that called in, then I would take your AT&T. I only took 18,000. 18,000 was their max. Actually, they moved it up to 21,000. So I only took people with $21,000 worth of credit, and I took your card and I maxed it out. And after I maxed it out, I threw it in the garbage. So that's all I was doing. So I was using AT&T. I would max them out. Then I might go to Chase, because Chase was pretty much giving out a lot of money. They were giving out like 40, 50,000.
But this whole time, you're still with that one company.
I'm still with that.
And nobody's catching on to this?
No.
How? Okay, so when you go blow $18K on a guy's credit card thing,
the most stupidest way, they have those checks that they issue that you can write on your credit card. So I would get the checks and I would write myself a check for $14,000.
And the other person has no idea.
They have no idea. The credit card and the bill was coming to my house.
Oh,
Once
shit.
I maxed them out, and then I changed the address to some obscure place and say, okay, I'm going to take this one, and the bill would come to my house. I'd write myself a large check, and I kept getting your bill until I spent all your money. Then I just send you to another address. So I was just stealing the money.
And now, back then when you were doing that, right, would the only way that person could find out that you were doing it is if he went to get a car and they run his credit? Then they say, hey, well, you owe $15,000 with AT&T or $18,000.
Right.
If he doesn't go to get something, he or she is never going to know.
He or she never knows. The 16 years was like, at that point, when I got that time, I had stole millions.
Yeah.
Like I took on, like, my transformation in fraud was always dependent upon an arrest. So I would do this. I get arrested and say, okay, I can't do this. I'm going to do this. Oh, that works. So I would do this. I get arrested and say, okay, I can't do that or this. So I'm going to do this. So
yeah,
then I do this.
well, at least you were like strategic about it, right? Now, so you get away with this with AT&T, right?
Right.
When you're doing this, are you moving houses and apartments? Because you're changing it to your billing or your address.
No, I wasn't. That's what caught me.
If you would have moved around every so often.
If in my mind, because it was never a problem in my mind, I never thought, hey, having everything come to my house is a red flag. You know what I'm saying? So the cops finally came to my house. Like, what the fuck, dude? You know, I had like 9 people come here. What the fuck is going on?
So now, how long did it take from when you started this with AT&T until you got the knock?
To like 30 months.
God damn, it took them that long?
Took them that long. I've been horrible I've been what I call an opportunist.
Yeah.
Like if you're slipping, then I'm going to
bury your ass.
Yes, I'm going to slide right into that slippage area.
And you know what? You have like that teddy bear personality.
Yeah.
So I could see how you could just fuck somebody up.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just
throw
really
them all the way off. Throw them
Yeah.
all the way off.
Because you got the charisma, you got the lingo, and then you just have that teddy bear look.
Yes.
I could see how somebody could fall for your shit.
Oh yeah. I've been doing that. I've been doing that forever. People, when I was in prison, people were like, "You don't seem like the kind of guy that would be in prison."
But that's why you were so good.
Yeah, I'm thinking to myself, but I'm an absolute criminal. I'm an absolute criminal. There are actually opportunities. I'm thinking to myself, there's opportunities here in prison for me to steal. So I'm like, the opportunities are everywhere in life. There's nowhere that is not an opportunity for me to make some money. So it's horrible. It's horrible.
So then after Kellogg's, that falls through. You're not hit yet.
No.
Right. So now what happens after the attempted Kellogg's deal?
Well, you know, like the hustle that I had was kind of like screwing the bank out of money for their claims department. You know, if someone unauthorized uses your debit card or credit card, the bank has to give you the money back. So that was kind of my hustle. So I would like have people open accounts in different people's names. I'd put like $5,000 in the account, and then I'd have someone in a completely different state. This is when I could clone the cards to steal the money out of your account. And then when the bank gave it back, you know what I'm saying? I just kind of paid you off on that.
How were you cloning the cars? Did you have one of those machines?
Yeah, one of the little machines.
Like Bozak had?
Yeah, yeah.
Same type of shit?
Yeah, and all I would do is clone the card, and then I'd send people to buy money, postal money orders or grocery store money orders with the debit card. And then you'd be like, oh my, like you'd be in Ohio, you'd open up an account. I'd go in the bank with you, open up an account. I like to open up an account. I have $5,000 I want to put in the account. Cool. Then when the debit card comes in the mail, you know, I clone the card. I have you go to the gas station, use the card, and then my friend in Georgia is using your card. So I go back in the bank and go, hey, I'm getting transactions out of Georgia. So you pull up my account, and as you're looking at my account, someone just takes money out of my account in
and
Georgia.
They're giving you the money back, so you're taking 5 and getting 10.
Yeah.
Right? Pretty much. And then that's how it was going.
That's, to the tune of about almost $2 million.
Damn.
Yeah, so that was the hustle I was doing when they brought that $7 million hustle. I'm like, oh my God, that's retirement.